afternoon. My name's Fiona. This is Elio Moon Arts, and today we're going to make this notepad cover. So this is our Lavender Love collection from Couture Creations. I did make something last week. I think it was a card, and so we're going to continue on from that, and we're going to have a look at what we've done here. So I brought a pad that's an A5 size, and I've cut it down by about 1/4 of an inch on one side and also across the bottom so that it fits in here. We are going to need a piece of Lavender Love cardstock. So I've used this one. So this is on the back of mine. But, I mean, you can use whatever one you like. I can grab a different piece here. What else have I got? This one might be nice. No, not that one. We might use a different one. Let me have a look. Okay, let's use this one. So we're going to need a piece of this, and we're going to cut it down to 12 inches, so we don't need to cut across it, but we're going to cut it to 8.5 inches at the top. And that will give you this size, and you'll have 2 pieces left over, which were these 2 pieces here that I had. And where's my little note? I've got a note here. It's got me measurements on it. So what I've done is I've taken my 12 by 12 piece card. I've cut it down to 12 inches by 8.5 inches. And then I've scored, what I did was I folded it over so that it was in half. So I folded it directly in half like so. And then I took this back to my scoreboard, which I'll grab out now and show you what I did. So I took it to the scoreboard and I put it on here. I'll just lift that up a little bit. And so I just centered the centre fold on that 6-inch line, and I've just scored either side of the 6-inch. Actually, I think I did. What did I score this at? Yep, I did. So I've scored it at 6 1/8 on one side and 6 7/8 on the other side. So that'll create our spine. And I used my ruler. I'll show you how I did that. And I just used my ruler and I put it across the edge, right up against where the edge of that fold would be. And I used my ruler to help me fold that line up because it was in a centre piece. I just took it up and I folded it down across there. And then I went to the other side and I did the same thing again. I just held it directly in front of that line, just on it, and I pulled it up and made my crease. That made it a lot easier to create that centerpiece. So then I got actually we might just do one. Let's just do one and be done with it, and that way I can show you what I did. Because I'm going to make a few of these. So we've got our butterflies. They're semi-directional. I'm just going to cut off this little bit at the bottom here. Okay. I'm just going to cut that little strip off with the barcode thing on it. Then I'm going to decide on which way I want this. I think it's sort of not directional, this one. So I think I'm going to go this way. If I cut off, so that way. So I want to cut off. No, I don't want it that way. I want to cut it so that I've cut it at 8.5. So I'm going to turn it around this way. So I'm going to bring it to 8.5. Pop that on there, and I'm just going to cut that piece off. So this leaves me with, I think, about 3.5 inches. Just from memory, should leave me with about 3.5 inches. Yep, 3.5 inches. So I'm going to keep that piece. Then we're going to flip this around, and you're going to decide which is going to be a top and which is going to be a bottom. I think I'm going to have one that way. I'm going to fold my piece directly in half. It's a little off. Let me just move this out the way for a second. I'll just get this fold part right. That's better. Okay, so now I've folded it directly in half. So now I'm going to take back my scoreboard Grab my scissor. And I'm just going to sit this on the 6. So that centre line that I just scored in there, it's at 6 inches. So on one side you've got 1/8. Oh, 1/8. I'm going to score the 1/8. There we go. And then I'm going to do it 7/8. Okay, so both of those are done now. Put the scoreboard over here. Just going to grab my ruler. I mean, even this side would be really nice as a cover as well. It would make a really nice cover as well, but I like the butterflies as well. So I'm going to put this directly across this line. I'm hoping you can see this. I'm just going to pull it down just a little bit, see if you can. So I've got this line here. I'm just going to put my ruler on the edge of that line. Right on it. I'm just going to push up and just help to crease that line a little bit, and then I'm going to do the same on this side. Just line it up alongside it, and then I'm just going to push up. And now we have, here we go. Now we have our little, let me just piece that out better. That's not straight. Let's just straighten that one up. Okay, let's go this way. There's that one. And bring it back on this side. And we'll just, there we go. There it is. That's in there. I'll just bring this one back over here and see that one. So now we have some really defined creases that will create a little spine for when we put our pad in here. Okay, go this way. Yeah, this way. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take these 2 pieces, this one piece, and we're going to cut it into 2. So just directly in half. So I'll take it to 6 inches. Okay, and we'll cut that off. Oh, where are they? There they are. These are not exactly. Okay, so now we're going to create the pockets for the inside of our book. So we're gonna have to cut off a little bit on these so that we can have them. So I reckon about 1/4 of an inch. If we cut off about 1/4 of an inch, that should fit on there nicely. So let's grab this. Which end am I going to grab 1/4 of an inch off? I might grab it off this end. Take it this way. I'm going to work this 7/8. It's 1 1/4. Might have to just mark this one because my finger won't let me do it on that one. So let me just mark off 1/4 of an inch, which is there. Let's make a little line there. I'm just going to draw a line straight down there. Just so I keep it straight because I'm not the greatest of cutters. I'm just going to cut that little piece off. Okay, I'm going to do the same with this one. Just take 1/4 inch off this side. Just 1/4 inch there. And if we need to take off more, we can. I'm just taking a little bit of time. You can't, better to take off just a little bit of the time than to take off too much. Okay, take this one. I'm just going to cut that bit. Okay. And that's actually part of it. Thought I'd drawn it accidentally. So I'm going to put this one on this side because it's got more of the flowers. So we're going to butt this right up to the edge on the outside of our cover. So I'm going to do this one this way. Now at this stage we've got straight edges here. Oops, on this edge here. But what I would like to do is actually make a more sort of like a V shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my ruler. I'm going to go from that point there and just mark that off. And I'm going to do the same thing on this one. Go this way. I'm going to go from that point. Probably about there. So, and it just depends on what angle you want yours on. So I'm just going to cut out those pieces from there. And then I might see if I can use my rounder to round those corners on that. So, and the same on this one, I'll just cut this one off as well. So that sort of created a bit of a V in our folder, and that will help to be able to take things in and out of our cover once we get everything sorted. So I've got a corner rounder here. It's only a small one. No, that one's not going to go in there. I'll have to do that one by hand. But I'm just going to round the corners on this. Do the same on this one. And I'm actually going to round the corners on my on my pad as well, my pad cover. So I'm going to take that. Okay. That's the way that I want it. Okay. So now we're going to glue our little pockets on. Okay, so I'm just going to use some Couture Creations all-purpose art glue. And I'm only going to put it on the outer edge and the bottom. And I just want to keep it right on the edge if I can, as much as possible. And while I think of it before I go any further, I'm just going to round this corner simply by just using my scissors. So now I'm going to go to this corner, line it up, and put that down. And I'm just going to take this bit of paper out from under here because I don't want to get glue on it. Okay, so there's our first pocket in. And this will be our second pocket. So we're just going to go down the side and across the bottom. Okay. Oh, it's not quite right. There we go. I have to just scooch that one down a bit. It's actually not quite right. This one. Let's go over here a little. Okay, that's better. Let's see how we go. So now we've got our cover pretty much completed. Now, on the other one that I'm doing, because it's got a plainer front, I'm actually going to embellish the front, but on this one I'm not. So I'll show you what I've done. So I bought a pad of these writing pads. They're an A5 size, and there's 3 in a packet, so you've got 3. And I'm taking them off and making sure I've got this piece of cardboard that sits behind it. So I've got one with the cardboard on. I think this is the one that I've already cut down. And we're just about to find out. So what we're going to do is, in that back pocket that we created before, we're just going to slide that bit of cardboard into the pocket. And that is our notebook done, basically. These would be good to sell at markets. They'd be nice to give as gifts. But it's just a really simple project. It uses up a a 12 by 12 sheet of paper, which I think's great. Yeah, so that's a bit of fun. So I'm just going to let this one dry because this one has just come off a little bit at the bottom. But also by creating that closure, by putting that V in, we've also created a bit more space to be able to put things in and out of there. You could actually get a pen that would be able to fit into here. Lots of people make them using, you could actually make a matching pen. I never even thought about that. I'll have to think about getting some pens that I can create, and we could actually put a paper clip on the end of it so that it paper clips onto our folder. But I'm going to go over to my other one that I created earlier because we're going to embellish this one, because this is the one that I'm doing for the blog on Couture Creations as well. Okay, so there's our folder put in there. Now we're going to look at doing our cover, and we're going to decorate it. So what I've done, let me find my bit of paper that I've got here. So in the Lavender Love collection, we have this fussy cut page where there's a couple of them in there. So what I've done is I've taken this wheelbarrow, which is similar to this one, and I've fussy cut it out. Then I've also got a 12 by 12 lavender coloured piece of cardstock, and I have cut 3 5.5 inch by 1 1/4 inch and 3 1/2 inch by 3 7/8 inch, and I've glued them together. So I've done 3 up and 3 at this, and the smaller ones across the back to create like a fence type look. So we're going to glue that onto here like so. Just going to put a little bit of glue across these, and I might just put some on these ones here on the side, just that I don't want this to catch on anything. So I'm just wanting to make sure that it's well glued down so that if you've got it in your handbag or whatever, things don't get caught on it and it breaks. So now I'm going to put this one here. And the reason I've made it only this wide is because I wanted to be able to keep that bit of lace trim that was down the side, because I really liked the look of that. Okay. And then I grabbed another piece of this cardstock, the lavender cardstock, and I took one of our die cuts out of the pack. This piece was 3 5/8 by 1 1/4 inch, and I've actually glued the word delightful on the top of this, and I'm actually going to put that at the top of our page. Oops. Take that out. Bit of glue on this. Okay, so I'm going to glue this one here. Another one of our die cuts I grabbed out was this one that says notes, which I thought was really lovely. I'm going to put that on the top of that fence. Put that on the top of the fence here. Here we go. Then we're going to grab our fussy cut that we took off our Lavender Love collection, and we're going to glue this down. Now, yes, you could use those foam pieces that help to make it and give it that 3D look. You could do that with this. I'm choosing not to, because I think that if I was to have this in my bag and I had those foam pieces on there and it rose it up a little bit, it would catch, and then then it might break, and I don't want it to break. So I'm going to pop that in there, whip this around. I'm going to glue our lavender down, And last but not least, I've just got this little butterfly, and I just thought I might pop him here. And I'm also not going to leave him 3D. I'm going to put him down flat. But what I am going to do, I've got some little pearl things. I'll show you what they are. I might just use a little bit of that and a little bit of 3D stuff that I've got there, just to finish this off nicely. So I'm going to put our butterfly in here. Here they are. So I've just got these. I need one of those picker-upper things for these things. They drive me crazy sometimes. Okay, and we're just going to put, not there. I want you to go onto there. So I'm just going to put these on the edge, just one on either wing. I think, and then I'm going to grab, where is it? This one. So this is Liquid Drops 3D Pearls, and I'm just going to put a little bit of this around it as well. And that'll take a little bit of time to dry, not too much. And I just thought that was a nice little touch to it, and it just adds a little bit more dimension to our piece. And that is our piece done for today. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you've got anything out of it at all, I would really appreciate a thumbs up. If you could make a comment and subscribe if this is of any value to you until I make some more content, which should be in the next few days, hopefully. You have a great day. Thank you very much. Bye.